In his first official phone call with a foreign leader, President Joe Biden discussed establishing closer U.S. and Canada ties with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Now, in terms of what we know of globalism and how the New World Order is being built, this renewed partnership should have every American, Canadian, and Mexican concerned for the sovereignty of their respective countries. We'll examine their joint statement and remind you of a close partnership the three North American countries have been working on for quite some time in this episode of Analysis Behind the News, where we provide the perspective and the plan to help restore American liberty and independence. Last week, the White House released a shared statement from President Biden and Prime Minister Trudeau called the Roadmap for a Renewed U.S.-Canada Partnership. It starts off with, "It is in the shared interest of the United States and Canada to revitalize and expand our historic alliance and steadfast friendship to overcome the daunting challenges of today and realize the full potential of the relationship into the future." It goes on to list a whole-of-government effort battling COVID-19, striving for mutual prosperity, creating a partnership on climate change, global health security, defense and security, while also reaffirming a shared commitment to diversity, equity, and justice. Now, it's not hard to pick this apart in terms of what this means for American sovereignty. The majority of these topics is a leftist wish list of some of the areas where they consider government has a chance to provide leadership. Yet, the majority of this list is not in the scope of constitutionally limited government. But globalists from both major political parties don't let a little piece of paper stand in their way of usurping power from we the people. This was recently reinforced by an interview question that was answered by the President of the Council on Foreign Relations, Richard Haass. When asked if the CFR was a group of architects working to help form a new world order, he answered no. However, he spent the last part of his few-minute answer explaining why there is nothing wrong with countries getting together to work on global solutions to global problems. Because, as he said, we cannot manage these threats by ourselves, that these threats and challenges do not respect borders, and that we would be better off if we all work together on these problems instead of choosing not to, as sovereignty allows us to choose. However, it's the CFR's own publication that has advocated for a globalist world order time and time again. One only needs to search world order on the Foreign Affairs website to see that the term has been used nearly 7,000 times in its publication from at least the 1930s. A specific example of this is from its April 1974 issue. Richard Gardner wrote, "In short, the House of World Order will have to be built from the bottom up rather than the top down. It will look like a great booming, buzzing confusion, to use William James's famous description of reality, but an end run around national sovereignty, eroding it piece by piece, will accomplish much more than the old-fashioned frontal assault. Of course, for political as well as administrative reasons, some of these specialized arrangements should be brought into an appropriate relationship with the central institutions of the UN, the United Nations, system. But the main thing is that the essential functions be performed." In its September-October 2016 issue, then Vice President Joe Biden wrote an article arguing for maintaining the world order that the U.S. had built up, warning, if the next administration chooses to turn inward, it could very well squander the hard-earned progress we've made not just over the past 7.5 years, but also over the past 7 decades. This House of World Order has helped to create the European Union, the most blatant example by far of where globalists hope to push the three countries of North America. For those that don't remember, the idea of integrating these three countries nearly came about under the watch of President George W. Bush, with his promoting of the Security and Prosperity Partnership. The CFR was integral in establishing a blueprint called the North American Community that would have helped to create a North American Union. Because opposition to it was so fierce from the John Birch Society and other organizations, the federal government felt the need to place a myths versus facts section onto its spp.gov website, suggesting that the SPP was not a movement to create a European Union-like structure. However, about 5 years before President Bush and his Canadian counterpart were busy denouncing these conspiracy theories, Vicente Fox, Mexico's president who signed the SPP with Bush and Canadian Paul Martin in 2005, said in a speech in Madrid, Spain, "Eventually, our long-range objective is to establish with the United States, but also with Canada, our other regional partner, an ensemble of connections and institutions similar to those created by the European Union. The new framework we wish to construct is inspired in the example of the European Union." Due to the intense pressure created by us and many others in the coalition to block the North American Union, the SPP was changed to the North American Leaders Summit, and the spp.gov site was taken down. President Obama continued these meetings for a short time, and then President Trump abandoned them altogether. Now, we give you all this background to point out that buried in the roadmap as released by both Canada and the US lies this mention. The leaders agreed to work towards reviving the North American Leaders Summit as a recommitment of solidarity between the United States, Canada, and Mexico. The globalists began this merger with the North American Free Trade Agreement, known as NAFTA, many years ago, and then helped to usher in the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, the USMCA, as the next step toward establishing an EU type of framework. Now, only time will tell how quickly and how far down the road a leftist Congress and a leftist president will take this country into building the North American Union. As the CFR writes in its latest issue of Foreign Affairs, the time has come to tell Americans that there is no escape from global responsibility. The John Birch Society remains committed to its work of keeping American sovereignty alive and stopping the North American Union. We helped derail this last time, so now, with your help, we can certainly do it again. Visit our Stop the North American Union action page at jbs.org/NAU to learn more about this nefarious plot. Then, apply for membership in the John Birch Society to raise awareness and to join others who have chosen Americanism over globalism. It's been said that eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. You won't find Americans more dedicated to eternal vigilance and to safeguarding our God-given rights than members of the John Birch Society. Apply for membership in the John Birch Society today at jbs.org. Links are in the video description. Who do you know that cares about freedom and independence? Because it's time to act. The very survival of our republic depends on it. I'm Bill Hahn for the John Birch Society. Until next time, stay active, stay informed, and stay safe, Patriots.